Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Tommy Robinson, as you can see on the screen, 512,000 subscribers. Went up quite a few thousand there in a day or so. Currently in Israel, mentioned in another video, mentioned twice. I thought we'd just do a bit of again, anybody not subscribed or not paying attention to what's going on or not following Tommy Robinson. Just some of his highlights of Israel, to be honest, and what's going on, and on his visit there. A lot of people say he's funded by Israel. There's also things in the background about people, influencers going to Israel and having to say it's great, and I've heard that recently as well. But all that aside, we're just taking a look really at what Tommy Robinson's doing in Israel in general, not in a conspiratorial, what's he doing there, who's paying for him to go there, what's he, you know what I mean? Like, fair dues. He could be, he could be a plan, as I mentioned before. He might not be, I don't know. Again, mentioned before, he's the one name I would say probably isn't out of all the people in the public eye. So he's the one person I semi-trust, I suppose. Um, but anyway, it's Tommy Robinson aside as well. It's more the issue of what he's talking about as well here. He's covering October the 7th. An event I remember well. Again, it was the day after I buried my dad, so I remember it very well, being very, very hungover, having drunken myself absolutely sick, to be honest. I was very hungover, and October the 7th happened when I was lying on the sofa all day, unable to do anything but spew up. So I remember it very well, to be honest, and it was a brutal attack, and I've seen bits of footage from it, and it was a brutal attack that the left wing like to sweep under the carpet every chance they get and completely ignore ever happened, while they're shouting Palestine, free Palestine every Saturday and weekend for the last 2 years of us annoying everybody. So it's an event that happened. Do you know what I mean? It happened, and again, the left wing determined to sweep this event under the carpet like it didn't happen. So Tommy's watching some unseen footage from October the 7th, as the title of the video says here, breaks down after watching. Because again, it's very horrific. Charlie Veitch as well has also seen footage from the October the 7th, and very often when he speaks about it, and he's not watching the footage at the time, he relives what he's seen, and he breaks down himself because it was a brutal event. And again, I'm one of these people personally. I won't let October the 7th be swept under the carpet by the left wing and people, and let it be forgotten that the whole Israel Gaza Palestine conflict, and the reason that Gaza is in ruin, is because Hamas attacked Israel on October the 7th. That's what began all this shit show that we've had to live through for just over 2 years. Apparently we've got a peace now, but I don't think many of us who pay attention will believe that peace will last for long. Because we know who we're dealing with, the other side of it. That's like what a lot of what Tommy's trying to say a lot of the time. We know who we're dealing with here. And then even then, his opening lines here is, we don't quite know, we don't hate them enough. We don't hate them enough, is his words. For some of the things that they've done to women and children, and never mind the men, it's brutal with the men, but fair dues, I suppose you can say that's war in many respects. But women and children are not part of the war in most people's eyes, and when you bring them into it and do some of the things that have been done to women and children by these people, well, what do you say? What can be said? You know what I mean? It can anger and infuriate anybody when you hear of what's been done. To be honest, so well, we're going to play a bit of Tommy anyway, and some of the stuff from his Israel trip.
You don't hate them enough. We don't hate them enough. I don't think that anyone understands what the mindset is of Hamas, who Hamas are. about to watch now the tunnels that were found under, is it Shifra Hospital, which is in Gaza. So remember, we always see on the news, and all the accusations are that Israel's bombing hospitals or bombing schools. Hamas, the video I've just watched of Hamas butchering their way through and massacring innocent civilians, and the joy they're getting whilst doing it, those same Hamas fighters are stationed under the hospital. Yeah. So when Israel goes to war to get their people back, or to fight this evil jihadi group, then they station themselves under the hospitals. And many of the doctors and many of the survivors and many of the hostages were brought into those hospitals. So many of the doctors are part of the Hamas. When we hear the figures of how many people have died, it's from Hamas. So to understand how they have to fight this war, that's on their border, that's next door. Yeah, that's next door. In the video I've just watched, which I think everyone should have to watch that video, anyone waving a pro-Palestinian flag, anyone on a demonstration in London, any politician supporting them, anyone that was calling for a ceasefire should have had to watch that video of what this community and what this country and their people had to go through, and actually witness what they went through. Yeah, and everyone should have had to seen that. And the sickest thing is the joy in the people doing it, the joy in celebration, the calls to Allah whilst they're doing every single second of it. So yeah, and now I'm going to see the tunnels, because the tunnels is a big problem. It's a massive problem, because you're not fighting an army that put on a uniform. Yeah, that's not who Israel are fighting. They're fighting a guerrilla warfare army who base themselves inside civilians, inside schools, underground, and that's how they behave. Yeah. So how do you fight them? How do you fight them? And we hear so much, you hear all the accusations of genocide and genocide. More people are killed in Yemen. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it. So how many people have been killed in Nigeria now in jihad? This is the same enemy. It's the same enemy that's done this to Israel. It's the same enemy that's doing it in Nigeria. It's the same enemy across the world. Yeah. How do they fight that war? So this is a major point. The tunnels are a major point. So there's an army underground in tunnels under a civilian population. How do you fight them? I just watched the civilians were put into trucks. So you know that those civilians were put into trucks, and you know that some of them have just been released this week. Many of them didn't make it. Many of them were murdered. But 700 days they would have spent. Imagine the fear that would have been in them, because those people didn't know if their families, their friends were killed. They didn't know what happened back home. They were whisked off the street, taken away, watched people murdered in front of them, and they were brought into underground tunnels like this. And the key point being that this tunnel is underneath a hospital. This jihadist tunnel.
And what is it you're seeing?
You're just seeing a real small, very, very close-knit tunnel as they're walking through. They're finding their way through the tunnels. It's very dark. It's very dark. These are massive tunnels. There's kitchen sinks there, so they've got it's an entire underground network of tunnels. And I guess this is the first time the Israeli military have got access to understand what's happening. And this is the sort of tunnels, this is the reason why they couldn't find many of the hostages, because they're in underground networks like this. It's a walkthrough, yeah, you're seeing the soldiers walk with the cameras. They're getting to the end now, look, and there's just so many different directions. Where's this going up into a little hole? And then now there's a little set of stairs in the tunnel underground. There's water running down, so there's water leaking, but there's like a makeshift staircase where they're now going up the levels. Look, and now it's lit up. Look at the scale of these tunnels. They're like a little rat's nest full of little Hamas rats. And now this tunnel's coming up into, where is this? We've come out of the tunnel, that's into probably the hospital. Wow. It's just it shows you the sheer scale and the size of the underground networks. And what people need to realise is when you're seeing a hospital was bombed, Hamas's headquarters is underneath the bloody hospital. How are you going to take them out? Their headquarters is underneath the hospital. They purposely put their weapons and fire their rockets from schools. They purposely do it. But they're willing to sacrifice the school and the kids and the hospital. They don't care. They actually want those targets to be hit. So then their activists or their propaganda units from Iran and Qatar, all over, not even Iran and Qatar, the BBC,
Yeah, the propaganda networks kick up and say, Israel have bombed a hospital. Again, this is why I stand with Israel, because I know all this. This is obvious. Again, we're dealing with people here who will run up and stab innocent people, run them over, or you name it, stab children in dance classes. we're dealing with the worst of the worst here. So obviously their tactics are going to be the worst of the worst, because we're dealing with the worst of the worst. So the tactics are going to be the worst of the worst. The propaganda is going to be the worst of the worst. That's who we're dealing with, and it's only an idiot, again, the people in the left wing, and we believe a lot of them are being paid to be there, so they might not necessarily even believe or care about the propaganda, they're just being paid to be there. And only an idiot will stand with Hamas. Again, this is why all the arguments on the streets, because the average person won't stand with the terrorist organisation of people who stab us in the street and behead fucking people and stab children and fucking blow buses up and you name it. The average person doesn't stand with them people, so anybody that does is clearly a fucking idiot or he's being paid. So you're either arguing with an idiot who's an idiot, so don't bother, or someone who's being paid, so they're not going to change their stance because they're being paid. So that's kind of the left wing, but yeah, it's again, I'm fully aware of October the 7th, what happened, and again, the aftermath of that is the aftermath of what October the 7th, and again, Tommy's completely right, but it didn't take Tommy to tell me. How are you going to fight these people in tunnels like you've just seen, and you know what I mean, and they're under hospitals, and they just use every lie they can to clear you doing a genocide, when Israel are being very careful because the whole world watches them trying to not do a genocide. And again, a genocide is literally like wiping out all of the people. Well, that's not what they're doing here. They're just trying to take out the terrorists. So again, it's a propaganda as well. Like it flows both ways. Don't get me wrong. Like that's the nature of the world. Like look at England's got propaganda, left, right, and centre. Germany has, France has. Every world, all the media is controlled by probably the same people, and ultimately we're all getting propaganda about something somewhere. So we're all just stuck in this shitstorm together, to be honest. That's another way of looking at this. We're all stuck in this shitstorm together. So I've got another video from Tommy's tour to Israel. Hold on. So he's meeting, this is another video on Tommy's channel. Inside Gaza, Israel paratroopers first-hand account of October the 7th. I'll play a little bit of this. I think he's got 5 videos now so far in Israel, if you want to go to the channel and watch them in full. Yeah, so this is only 8 minutes long. I might not play it all. I'll play a bit of it. As it says, paratrooper first-hand account of October the 7th.
Shalom, how are you? Shalom, I'm very grateful. Thank you. I'm very grateful for the invite, sir.
We're happy to have you with us.
I'm honoured to be here.
The Memorial Day is today, and you are now about to meet commanders who were fighting here in Sderot on October the 7th. You're going to see Gaza Strip, you're going to see Beit Hanun, one of the neighborhoods that was one of the strongholds of Hamas in a very location. And we are very happy to have you with us. Thank you for coming. We don't take it for granted. Heavy incidents and fighting from the beach, the base of Zikim, Netiv HaAsara, the city of Sderot, the junctions, main junctions surrounding Sderot, and obviously more south, and you will be there, the Nova Festival, Be'eri, farther to the south. Now what you're seeing right here is the northern part of Gaza Strip, and you can see how close it is to Sderot. This is nothing. Okay, you can just 5 minutes walk and you are already in Gaza. It's very, very close to Sderot.
They get out, the government want to go to peace and told to all the settlement that we need to get out. And the families with the grandfather and the children and the schools and synagogue, we get out from Gush Katif and pray for
Gush
peace.
Katif is the name of all the villages together.
All this around.
So just to understand that, because when I was here last time in 2015-16, I met a Jewish girl whose family for generations had been living there, and then part of a peace agreement between the Israeli government with the Palestinian state, or the Hamas, was that there would be peace if all the Jews left Gaza. So Jews were forcefully removed from Gaza. So when they talk about ethnic cleansing, or you hear all these different things, the Jews were forcefully moved out themselves by their own government in order to bring peace, which they've obviously established doesn't bring peace now.
To be accurate, there wasn't a peace agreement, it was a withdrawal that the government believed it will make the condition better, more security, etc., etc. There was a huge debate, obviously, and many people, including myself, we thought this is a very bad idea, wrong message to withdraw. This is a wrong message for Hamas. Obviously, Muhammad Deif, one of the commanders of Hamas, says, okay, we managed to destroy Netzarim, we managed to destroy Gush Katif, and the next will be Sderot, the next will be Tel Aviv, as it happened on October 7th.
So I spent since October 7. I live in Kiryat Gat, which is about...
How old are you?
I am 32.
Okay, yeah.
I live in Kiryat Gat, which is about 20-minute drive that way. And on October 7, obviously, we're also, missiles were falling, rockets were falling. The next day, we all already were ready to go into Gaza and fight. My unit, we were called up. Again,
how long have you been in the military?
This is not, I had my mandatory service aged 18 until 21. I was a commander and officer. And finished my service, and then I lived my life. I married, I have kids, I work for the minister in the government.
Okay.
October 7, the whole country
has to go back to war.
Put on their uniform, go to the reserves, and we all drafted back to the army. So I was called up, I'm in a unit for the paratroopers. It's called 646. And we were called up after about a month and a half of waiting, because we didn't know if we were going to get sent to Lebanon or to Gaza. We were sent to Gaza City, to the center of Gaza. We spent about, I'll abbreviate, but within 2 years of the war, now we're finishing 2 years, I spent 1 full year fighting. So 360 days in the army now, the past 2 years. And
physically fighting every day?
Physically, most of the time I was in Gaza. From the middle part of Gaza, which is Mechanot Merkaz, Nuseirat, El Burej, until Bet Hanun, until the end here. And I will say that this last time that we went in, I finished a month ago, my last service.
Just finished.
I just came back to the office, to my regular life.
So you've gone from a paratrooper fighting on the front line to straight back into
the front line of anti-Semitism, fighting anti-Semitism in the world, which is the same fight. It's one battle. Okay. But we have this is one front we have to fight, and we have obviously jihadis like you're fighting also.
Yeah. It's one front, it's one battle. He's right. He's absolutely right, to be honest. So that's Tommy Robinson in Israel. Again, just thought I played him off for the first video, but I just thought I'd give half of that one a play as well. If you want to go and watch more, so he's got 5 videos so far. Sure, there'll be more of his tour of Israel, interviews with various people, showing you various places. Very interesting, to be honest. I'm enjoying them, so I'll give them a mention. If anybody who isn't paying attention or watching them or not subscribed to Tommy, I'll leave it there. Peace.